Welcome to Hyundai Sunday, presented by your Atlanta Hyundai dealers.
It is a beautiful day for the regular season home finale as the Braves entertain the San Francisco Giants here at SunTrust Park. The Braves eagerly looking forward to postseason play, but one more left here in Atlanta today. Jeff and Chip, great to be back with you at the ballpark. Partner, hard to believe that the home schedule comes to a close today, and the Braves would like nothing better to wrap things up here at SunTrust Park the way they began. Remember, they swept the Chicago Cubs in a 3-game series. Wouldn't it be nice to start thinking about postseason play with 3 more wins in what's already been a great home schedule?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is we get to play more baseball here after today at SunTrust Park, which has been so nice for the Braves. Look, we've got a great road record this year, one of the best in baseball, but what I love is finally taking care of business at home. 50 wins so far this year. And when you talk about being able to host the first round of the playoffs, I don't care if it's a hot Cardinals team coming in, Brewers, they have to come to our place where we've played really well, and you can tell the guys are comfortable here.
Confidence play indeed, brought to you by SunTrust and here at SunTrust Park. And Atlanta's always confident when Dallas Keuchel goes to the mound. He's got the ball for Atlanta against the Giants, as the Braves have already clinched the National League East. They try to finish the home slate with a flourish and a sweep over San Francisco today. Lineup's first pitch on a perfect Sunday for baseball is coming your way next. Perfect day for baseball in Atlanta. Kelsey Wingert joins Jeff and me for the home finale in regular season play as the Braves try to polish off a sweep of the San Francisco Giants and in the process earn their 97th win of the season. It'll be the final game managed by Bruce Bochy on the road. The Giants head home for their final regular season games in San Francisco. His Toyota starting lineup features Evan Longoria, Kevin Pillar in the middle of their attack, and Dallas Keuchel, Jeff, with another tune-up for Atlanta. He is our Georgia natural gas flamethrower today.
Yeah, next time we'll see Dallas here at SunTrust Park will be game 1 of the playoffs. You look for him to just go out there today, continue to get ground balls, hit spots. Like you said, Chip, probably 5-6 innings. Never know with Dallas. He can keep pitch count low, but look forward to seeing him pitch today. Last home game here at SunTrust.
Dallas had 1 bad inning his last outing against the Phillies. 5 runs allowed, all of them in the 4th inning. 2 2-run homers, and there are a couple of balls that were in and out of the gloves of the Braves defense that cost him some base runners. So let's see if Dallas can have a clean start and a clean first inning with Mauricio Dubon leading off, and we are underway with a quick strike. 81 degrees, a few puffy clouds overhead. Perfect weather for the regular season home wrap up for the Braves. Dallas Keuchel back to work, and a sinker swung on and missed. Different looking Braves defensive lineup today. You've got Austin Riley playing third base, Billy Hamilton's in center, Echeverria at second, Tyler Flowers behind the plate for game 3. And Keuchel with his 0-2 pitch. It's fouled back. Dallas 8-6 on the year. Saw that great number on his flamethrower cards. 7 starts, 5-1 with a 1.93 ERA of late. And way outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And those numbers are exactly why I think the experience, how he's pitched lately, is why I think it's perfect guy to start game 1 of a playoff series.
And the 1-2 pitch is hammered toward left field. Well hit. Markakis, though, got a good jump and makes the catch. A step onto the warning track. Well, a good start for Keuchel. Great play, Markakis. Jeff, what are the forward keys for game 3?
Yeah, get ground balls. 190 since his debut in June. 166 is the next closest. We know how he can do that. For the Braves offense, score early. Got a pitcher with not a lot of experience. Put some pressure on him. And the last one, put a bow on it. Finish strong.
Here's Mike Yastrzemski. 20 homers, 53 runs batted in. Carl's grandson. It's already been a memorable road trip for Mike. Home run at Fenway Park. His granddad threw out the first pitch to him in Boston. This young man finally getting a chance to play regularly in the big leagues, and he's put up fantastic numbers. Longtime Orioles farmhand getting a chance with the Giants, who have used a team record 64 players this season. So the old adage, if you can't tell the players without a scorecard, well, the Giants certainly would be your club in 2019. 1-1 pitch. And fouled off Yastrzemski's foot. And that's strike two.
A lot of these hitters for the Giants will be facing Dallas for the first time. I think he's only faced the Giants one time in his career previously.
Yeah, Slater's seen him a couple of times. Longoria saw him a lot. Pilar a lot in the AL East. After that, slim pickings for the rest of this mostly young Giants lineup today. So Dallas ready with his 1-2 pitch, and it's bounced foul again. Braves have already set a new SunTrust Park season attendance record this year. They've drawn over 2.6 million fans. It might be around 2.65 by the time the crowd count is announced here for Game 3. And that just missed. Good try. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Did you write Mike's full last name in your scorebook?
Of course.
You did?
Yeah.
I went with Mike Yaz. Fly ball right center. That's well struck. And Hamilton can't get it. Nicely backed up by Joyce. And Yastrzemski in at second with a stand-up double. He's had a whale of a series here in Atlanta.
Yeah, you said it. He's battled the pitcher, got into some deep counts, and right here fouled him off. Thought he had a sure double here, and Billy Hamilton almost ended up getting to that ball.
Yastrzemski led off for the Giants on Friday night. San Francisco had 4 hits in the clinching game for the Braves. Yastrzemski had 3 of them. So 2 singles, 2 doubles, and San Francisco threatens here in the first. Here's Austin Slater playing first base for them. 5 homers, 21 knocked in for Slater. I think it'll be very interesting to see what the Giants do this offseason. They have a lot of popular players, franchise cornerstones, guys that were hugely instrumental in their 3 world championships. But frankly speaking, a lot of them haven't been producing the last year and a half. They're going to have a new manager next year. They've got a new general manager already. So many of those ties, Jeff, those ties that bind as they were, are elsewhere in San Francisco. So we'll see what Farhan Zaidi and his staff can do to A, inject youth, B, still remain competitive and relevant, and C, propel the Giants forward.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of new faces, not just in the coaching staff, but I imagine out on the field next year too.
2 quick strikes for Slater, batting .256 on the year. And another drive towards center. Hamilton retreats, still going back, and Billy's got it right in front of the Braves bullpen fence. So Slater drives one to right center. He's the second out, and a runner at third for Evan Longoria, who's seen Keuchel more than any of the other Giants in the lineup today.
Yeah, obviously right now Dallas can't get that ball down. He's struggled. It's a guy we talked about leads all of baseball in ground ball rate, and he's given up 3 bullets. 2 obviously been caught, but I'd like to see him try to get that ball down.
Evan Longoria has had a rough road trip for the Giants. He's 2 for 15 in Boston and here in Atlanta. In this series, Longoria has yet to get the ball out of the infield. He bats with 2 outs. And Keuchel with that cutter just missed inside, ball 1. 19 homers, 65 driven in for Longoria, who, like so many of his Giants teammates, has had a better year offensively away from his home park. Knock on wood, hasn't happened yet here in Atlanta. And a bouncing ball toward third. Riley read the right hop and throws a strike, and there's the ground ball I think you were calling for, Jeff. It came at a perfect time. Giants threaten, don't score in the top of a scoreless first. Lead off the Toyota starting nine. Danny Echeverria has been stinging the ball. Freddie is back. Markakis is back. Matt Joyce is back. And they will take a look at young Logan Webb, who, Jeff, today makes his 7th career big league start.
Yeah, a guy who's getting an opportunity for them down the stretch here to kind of show what he can do. See his numbers right there. 310 batting average against, which is not great. His ERA is high, but got a good arm, 25 strikeouts. So see what the offense can do.
He's just a kid, 23 years old, out of Rockland High School in Rockland, California. That's about 20 minutes or so from Sacramento. And the first pitch is popped up. Crawford retreats at shortstop, and he is called off. Rickard makes the catch, and Dansby's out on the game's first pitch.
And with Ronald getting the day off, Dansby batting leadoff today. Brian Snitker said, I'd love to try to get him 5 ABs if we can today, if we happen to turn the lineup over that many times. Talked about really trying to get him going here. 7 games left, or 6 games left to get him rolling.
Echeverria is rolling, especially since he's put on a Braves uniform. 20 games with the Braves, and Echeverria is flirting with a 300 average. He's already had one of the best post-game interviews on Braves Live the other day when he said, I want to thank the Braves for getting me out of that Mets uniform, which always endear you to Braves country. And he's been so good, he earns our Synovus Greatness Made Here feature.
And again, you see that bottom down there, 204 with the Mets, 294 here for 20 games, and you can tell just the way he's playing, he's got life.
And he has become a very important piece of the postseason puzzle, what with the injuries to Charlie Culberson and Johan Camargo.
Yeah, he came and took over for Dansby and did a good job while Dansby was hurt. And then when Dansby came back, he kind of felt like he was maybe a guy that was going to be left off that roster. But as you said, with those 2 big injuries there, you know, it's his turn to step up now.
Hey, you know about all that. This time of year, it's next man up. There's nobody has any sympathy at all. Somebody's got to step up, and Echeverria has. And bites him on the ankle. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Danny says he's all right. He'll dig back in. 7 homers, 30 RBIs overall in the year. As the Braves face Logan Webb, a 4th round pick back in 2014 by the Giants. Jammed him, and it's popped up. Slater gives way to Dubon, who showed nice range. Mauricio puts that away, and 2 pop outs begins the day for Atlanta. Here's Freddie. Well, the Webb story is an interesting one for San Francisco. Back in mid-August, he became the youngest starter to debut for the Giants since Madison Bumgarner, and became the first Giants starting pitcher in over a decade to win the first game he pitched. But his ascent to the big leagues has not been without some controversy. Back in May, he was banned 80 games for PED use, and Webb said he has no idea how that got into his system, and he has vowed to work very hard to regain the trust of the organization, the fan base, his family, and all of that. But certainly an unfortunate start to 2019 for young Logan Webb. 2 balls, no strikes. Base is empty for Freddie. 38 homers, 120 knocked in for him, and Webb pitching him very carefully. Ball 3. On a 3-0 pitch, Freddie will ground to second. And Webb gets 2 pop outs and a ground outs and a perfect 1-2-3 first. Well, in the battery after the playoff games wrap up between the Braves and most likely the Cardinals at this point. We'll show you those smiling faces all afternoon long as we wrap things up with the Giants today. And that's launched by Pilar foul, a swinging strike. It's 0-1.
Yeah, great crew we have all season, have done an awesome job putting up with our talk on talkback, which is tough in itself.
That's a wrong pronoun, but we'll go with it. No balls and a strike. And it's Keuchel. Gave up a Yastrzemski double, and that's it to this point. It's outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Now we're just the mouthpieces and the faces for a lot of great people, and it's a real privilege and honor to work for them as well as with them. And hopefully you've enjoyed their work as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. Another chance for Markakis up near that wall and took a peek and made the catch. And Pilar's retired for out number 1.
That's something I love watching Nick play. Even in left field, so smooth to the ball. Knows where that ball's probably going to end up. You see him take his time, get over there, look at the wall, and have plenty of time. He's never in a panic out there.
Pretty selfless too, Jeff, to know that Matt Joyce is more comfortable playing right field and say, look, I'll play left, doesn't matter to me. And very little trouble from Markakis out there so far. Here's Joey Rickard, another former Oriole.
Yeah, and he's done a great job out there, and I think that's what makes guys like, I got a chance to play with Andrew Jones, so good. They glide. You know, they always can see the ball. They're not out of control, running crazy. Enables them to have good routes.
Well, he's always in the right position. Yeah, he's got the cheat sheet in the back pocket, which is allowed nowadays. But he knows what the pitcher's going to throw. He knows the hitter's tendencies. He knows where to be. So you're almost surprised when Nick Markakis doesn't get to a ball, even though he would tell you at this stage of his career he's not the fastest guy afoot out in the outfield.
No, and you know, 2 years ago when EY talked to him about moving back about 3-4 steps and forcing yourself, because it's easier to come in, especially as you get older. And it's really helped him. Watch him in right field, watch him in left field. You see, like that first at bat of the game, Dubon, the line drive to left field. To me, if he's playing where he used to be, that's a double over his head. But now he realizes, I got a better chance catching a ball coming in than I do going back.
2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Rickard is struck out. First of those for Keuchel. Yeah, that's interesting to me. In a ballpark where it's 385 feet to straightaway left field, you talk about 3 steps, 6 feet, 7 feet, making that much of a difference for an outfielder and how he perceives his ability to make a play.
Well, yeah, and you talk about pitchers as they get older making adjustments, and I think he's had to do the same thing in the outfield. You know, realize I don't have that step back that I used to, so I'm going to play back knowing that I'm going to trust myself to read a ball that I got to come in on and make the play. And it's really worked out well for him.
Keuchel's retired 4 straight. Here's Brandon Crawford, the San Fran shortstop. That's in for a strike. One of the great iconic photos in Giants history took place when Crawford was a little kid. You young fans might not realize this, but years ago it was a very real possibility the Giants were going to leave San Francisco and go to Tampa Bay. And there's a picture of Brandon Crawford as a kid holding a sign saying, hey, keep the Giants in San Francisco. Well, a decade or so later, not only are the Giants in San Francisco, he's a Giant.
Yeah, won a couple World Series with them in 12 and 14. A guy they're going to rely on big time to try to have a bounce back year next year.
Crawford this year, .234 average, 11 homers, 58 runs batted in. Two balls and a strike, bases empty, 2 out. And that shot to right. Joyce on the run, and he reaches up and makes the play in front of the 375 sign. 1, 2, 3, 4 flyouts off Dallas Keuchel, but the Giants have been able to split just one gap. No score, bottom of the second inning. Nick Markakis will lead off.
As we head to the bottom of the second inning, and you heard Chip talking about the off days earlier, and that's something that Brian Snitker says now that they clinched, they're able to be a little bit more flexible with the lineup. The guys who have been in there every single day, this is the time to be able to rest them a little bit. He said we're going to be seeing some of those regular guys getting off days up through that Kansas City series, with the Braves having off days on Monday and Thursday. It works out perfectly. And then he said when that New York series come, you know, Jeff, the Braves have been in this situation before. He said it's our job to take care of business in that series if the Mets are still fighting for a playoff spot. We want to do our job and our justice to the rest of the league. And he did say as well, we talked about it last night, Fried and Soroka intentionally shortening their outings instead of skipping starts. That's something else I've heard you talk about, how I feel like a lot of those guys would prefer to not be taken off of that every 5-day schedule, a way to keep them sharp, keep them going every 5 days, but also limit those innings as we get closer to the postseason, guys.
Yeah, and good job, Kelsey. And the pitchers are the ones, for me, they got to stay on that routine of every 5 days. You don't really get them off. You know, Chip, I think the position players, whether the Mets are in it or not, we've seen a lot of teams that have clinched, take days off, have 2 at-bats, get pulled out. And for me, it hasn't really turned out great for them in the postseason. And so I think you're going to see next weekend in New York, those starters are going to play at least 8 innings, you know, 3, 4 at-bats to get them ready for you know, game 1 here that Thursday.
Plus, you got a chance to win 100 games. I mean, that's not a small factor either. It's meaningless as far as where the Braves are going to finish up in the postseason race. But you're right, a lot of things in play in New York, not to mention the fact that if you run into Wheeler, Syndergaard, DeGrom and company, those are #1 playoff type starting pitchers that you want to face to get ready for what you're going to run into in postseason play.
Yeah, those are the guys that, as you said, you're going to be facing down the line. So it's good for the hitters to see those pitchers.
So 4 up, 4 down for Logan Webb. Austin Riley's the batter. 18 homers, 49 driven in for him. Webb works out of that modified stretch, and Riley could not check his swing and is struck out on a slider. So 5 up, 5 down. Webb has his first strikeout. Matt Joyce will be the hitter. He's our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot feature.
And see, last 19 games, almost 400 average, 500 on base percentage. And Matt's done a great job, and the reason he'll be in right field versus a righty for the playoffs. It's really filled in nicely.
Which means if it's the Cardinals, he's going to play a lot.
Yeah.
Because their starters are right-handed. Hudson, Flaherty, Wainwright. That's why if you could get Ender back at full strength somehow, some way, taking nothing away from Matt Joyce, you have a Gold Glove center fielder, you'd have Acuna in right, and you'd have Matt Joyce available off the bench where he has shined.
Well, and I think that's why you just got to wait and see. Ender, a huge part of his game is the legs. You got to be able to see him run at full speed and do it consistently, which hopefully maybe we get a chance to see that next week.
1 ball, 1 strike.
But I know the way that Matt's been swinging to the bat too. You don't mind having a guy like that playing for you in the playoffs, especially if you got all right-handers, as you said, like with St. Louis. He's in that lineup.
Well, you said it best yesterday, partner, and that was, isn't it nice to have choices?
Yeah,
I mean, that's really what you want. This ball on the ground to second. There are choiceless choices, and then there are tough choices. The Braves are in the latter category, which means you've got a really good team. Webb's off to a good start. 6 up, 6 down. No score after 2. They have done such a fantastic job for us here at home. Game number 81 here in 2019. And they have had a beautiful day to ply their trade as Dallas Keuchel goes back to work. 2 scoreless innings so far. Ramos, Garcia, Webb, and Dubon coming up for San Francisco. Giants 41-39 on the road. Their final 6 games are at home against the Rockies and the Dodgers. And you know, Bruce Bochy would love nothing better than to finish with a flourish. That final weekend for him, I'm sure, is going to be very, very emotional, as it should be. Line drive into right field by Garcia, and Joyce thought about throwing to first, but Aramis hustled down the line and is aboard with a leadoff single. Now we'll see if Webb can bunt. Mentioned Webb is out of Rocklin, California. That's an interesting town in U.S. history. Rocklin was named for the granite quarries, as well as being part of the gold rush back in the early 1800s. Of course, all of Northern California part of the gold fever in the 1800s, I should say. That's where the 49ers nickname came from. Gold fever in 1849. There was so much gold fever, they named that era after the football team. Who knew?
Really?
Yeah, bet you didn't know that.
That's how it happened. Wow.
You don't get that kind of history on most big league broadcasts.
No, you
Jeff.
learn something new every day.
There you go. 1 ball, 1 strike for Logan Webb. And bunted foul. It's 1-2.
Hey, Dallas having trouble getting the ball down today.
Yeah.
You know, and it's tough. You know, veteran guy like himself coming out here. I said this is the toughest week coming up when you're on the road versus Kansas City, New York, because you're so excited about the playoffs coming up, but you still have to find a way to focus and, you know, get the most out of your work every single day.
I was going to say, you want to win the game and you want to pitch well and you want to get good results, as Keuchel fires to first on the sacrifice. But is this a time, Jeff, where either as an offensive player or pitcher you have the luxury of working on things, or is that pretty much already taken care of?
I don't know so much. It's not like it's spring training where you're going to work on things, but you know, at this point, these guys have played all year. They know their swings. They know what they want to do from a standpoint of mechanically on the mound. And like you said, now it's really just concentrating enough to get through that outing. You know, when you know what's ahead, like I said, it can be difficult.
So it's more of a mental challenge than the physical.
Absolutely. At this point of the year, yes.
Mauricio Dubon, the second baseman, he's lined out and is down a strike. He's a good-looking young player, very athletic.
And we saw his arm last night throw out Dansby Swanson by about a step and a half on a ball in the hole.
One ball, 1 strike. Nationals are in Miami. That game's tied 1 apiece. Washington got 6 runs in extra innings to win 10-4 yesterday over the Marlins. Nationals trying to hold off Milwaukee for the top wild card spot. That is going to be one whale of a race in the final week. Milwaukee tied, I should say 1 game back, I beg your pardon, but they're 2 back in the loss column, meaning they've played 2 more games than the Nationals have. Washington has a 5-game series coming up with the Phillies in their home park beginning tomorrow, I believe, as this ball's on the ground. The play is going to be to third. High throw, and Riley got the tag down. Base running mistake by Garcia. And the snap throw by Swanson to Riley was a little off target, but Austin saved him with a quick tag for out number 2.
Yeah, that's where young guys try to make something happen, and probably realized right away when he ran into this thing that he was running into an out. Easy play for Dansby. Nice throw over there. Got the tag down quick.
So it's Garcia later for the second out. Here's Yastrzemski. Yaz has a double, 4 hits in the series.
On the clinch night Friday night, the Giants only had 3 hits, and he had them all. The only one that really could solve Mike Foltynewicz.
What was your first year at Fenway Park that you got to play a game?
07.
07? Yeah, so he was long gone. There was a long-time public address announcer there named Sherm Feller. who was as big a character as there ever was in big league baseball. And he had that quintessential Boston accent. Sherm Feller was friends of so many people in the music business. In fact, he was a well-known composer. You know the song Summertime, Summertime? He wrote that song, right? Well, he was the PA announcer when Carl Yastrzemski was called up. He had so much trouble pronouncing Carl's name. Now batting outfielder Carl Yastrzemski. Playing right field, Yaz. That's how the nickname stuck.
Why not? Well, the guy for the Padres earlier this year that I wasn't even going to try to pronounce his last name.
Oh, the pitcher?
Yeah.
Margavich's.
Yeah.
Nick.
Something like that.
Yes, exactly.
Nick M.
Nick M. Yeah. That's why I said the other day it would have been fun to have a spelling bee with the players. Okay, how many guys on their team can spell Foltynewicz? How many of our guys could spell Yastrzemski? That would have been tough. And you got Samardzija too. Brown Woodruff, my producer. Yeah, reminded me. Jeff Samardzija's on this team.
Yeah, there's some tough ones.
Jeff's probably got a down dauber today. Golden Domers took it on the chin in Athens. 3-2 pitch is outside, ball 4. Keuchel pitched Yastrzemski carefully. 2 on, 2 out. And Austin Slater, the batter.
Yeah, the Domers gave you all a better game than you thought, though.
It was a great game. That was a great game. Well played.
Yep.
But good triumphed over evil. And the Dogs remained undefeated. Scoreless here, Austin Slater. Flied out to center his first time up.
Hit a ball to deep right center, kind of made Billy Hamilton go all the way back by the Braves bullpen. Made a nice catch.
Popped him up this time, and at second, Echeverria drifts out into shallow right. Keuchel sawed him right off, and that's what makes him so tough. He does not panic with runners in scoring position. Look at that zoom shot from our Xfinity cam. Fans watching out in the grassy area of the Battery on the big screen on a perfect Sunday afternoon. Look at that.
I might have to order a pizza tonight after seeing that.
Dude, that looks so good. I wonder if that was from Antico.
Looked like it with the box. Not that I know all those pizza boxes what they look like.
Tyler Flowers leads off. One ball, one strike. 11 homers, 34 knocked in for the Braves catcher. And that's sharply hit toward Crawford. Sunday hop. Now apropos is that 7 up, 7 down for Logan Webb. He's gotten 4 ground ball outs so far. And Billy Hamilton, the batter, the 8th place hitter. Billy's had a good series. And he will be a potentially big weapon in postseason play. And again, if you look ahead and say it's the Cardinals you face, the matchup of a guy like Billy Hamilton and Yadier Molina, the future Hall of Fame catcher for the Cardinals, in my opinion. That'll be fun to watch as it's upstairs. 1 ball, no strikes.
Like you said, so many different weapons the Braves have this year that they didn't have last year, which is going to make it interesting to see how they use them all come postseason time.
Line right back where it came from. There's the Braves' first hit. Tell you what, Kevin Seitzer and Jose Castro have done unbelievable work with these new faces on this roster. Everybody that Atlanta has gotten has improved offensively since they put on that Braves tomahawk. That was close.
Yeah. I give those guys so much credit. You know, they clinched Friday night, having a blast. You come in Saturday, there they are. Both those guys getting the scouting reports, watching film on the opposing pitcher. There's no day off for those two. I'm telling you, they take a lot of pride in how these hitters, not only do, but how their approach is and what they're doing for the year. As you've seen Billy Hamilton, who, didn't have a lot of luck in Kansas City hitting, has come here and he's really swung the bat well.
That hard work has sure paid off for the Braves offense, who enters play today 4th in the National League in average, 2nd in runs scored, only 12th in most strikeouts, and 3rd in on-base percentage. Why is your offense clicking? Well, there's your answer. 1 through 5. This is as nasty a lineup to navigate through as anybody in baseball.
I still go back to talking to Bruce Bochy Friday afternoon here, and him saying, I've seen all the teams this year, and 1 through 4 here in Atlanta is as good as there is in baseball.
Well, he would know. I mean,
exactly.
He saw the Dodgers 16 times already, and 3 more games head to head. Braves are 3.5 games behind LA for the top record, as breaking ball is called a strike, and Keuchel is retired. Can't advance Hamilton. 2 outs. And the Giants would love nothing better than to do anything they can to make LA's path to the World Series even more difficult. And again, they've got the final 3 against them in San Francisco this year.
Yeah, the only problem too, though, is the Braves are really 4 behind, because we got a 2-4 record against them, so you got to at least finish a game ahead.
But my point is, you still have a shot at the top record overall. That's better than no shot. We'll see if Atlanta can take advantage. Swanson popped out of the game's first pitch for the Atlanta offense. So he's 0 for 1. And just in case you wondered, Giants are 7-9 against the Dodgers, 3-3 at Oracle Park. So that's been a competitive series. And again, with it being Bochy's final 3 regular season games, the Giants will do their letter best to send him out over 500 in his career as the Giants skipper. Bochy already with 2,000 career wins, the 11th man in the history of the game to reach the 2,000 win plateau. The 10 that did it before him are all Hall of Famers, including Bobby Cox, who came to the ballpark to see Bochy today.
Yeah, you talk about Bobby Cox, Bruce Bochy, their skipper right there, taking in the final regular season home game. Wanted to come wish Bochy well, and you listen to Bruce talk about Bobby. I mean, that's his guy. He loved him, loved watching him manage, loved managing against him. Glad they got a chance to see each other.
Swing and a fly ball. That's hit well toward left. Rickard going back to the warning track, to the wall. He's got just enough room, and that retires the side. Dansby almost hit it out of the ballpark. He's retired, and so are the Braves in a scoreless 3rd. After the 2019 season, 8th most games managed, 4 pennants, 3 championships, manager of the year, who started his career with the San Diego Padres. There was some speculation yesterday that Bruce Bochy might be a candidate in San Diego. Bochy said, well, I'm not going to really even address that. I'm concentrating on getting through this final week. Some of the newspapers in San Francisco today, Jeff said, well, that wasn't exactly a complete and total no, I'm not interested in managing again.
Yeah, he could down the road. I don't think it's going to be next year. This guy wants some time off the way he sounds. But I do know one thing, those numbers, that means Hall of Fame.
Dansby deep short, throws on the run. Perfect peg, takes care of Longoria. 1 out. You mentioned the other day you've had the luxury of playing for both Bruce Bochy and Bobby Cox. Tell me what's similar about them. Tell me what's different about them.
I think there's a lot of similarities as far as, to me, there are not a lot of rules for both of them. Play hard, show up on time. Definitely players, managers, in the fact they cheer for you, they grind with you. I would say that, I mean, you can nitpick on little things, but I think they've both done a great job, over the years, getting the most out of their players, most out of their teams.
From afar as a broadcaster, it seems to me, Jeff, one of their great strengths was adaptability. it is still the same game, but it's all the stuff on the outside that has changed so dramatically as to how baseball is played, how teams are put together, how the game is covered. And it seemed like Bruce Bochy and Bobby Cox always had time for the media, always had time to promote the game, promote their teams, and deal with obviously the different cultures, the different personalities, the different life experiences that a 25-man roster by its very nature is going to have. That's not easy to manage people, because they can all manage the game.
Yeah, I think one thing that both do good, I think Brian Snitker's done a great job being under Bobby for so long, is not riding the up and down wave, you know, being pretty consistent all year long.
Fly ball by Kevin Pillar to left. Markakis to the 385 side, and to the right of that, hauls it in.
Yeah, you wonder if the ball's dying today. There's a lot of balls been hit. To me, I thought that had a chance to at least split the gap or get out there.
He had to go down and golf that baby.
Yeah, he did. One a bad pitch, got him out front. But I think those guys do such a good job of you know, I used to always tell people, you talk to Bobby after you win 5 games in a row or lose 5, and it's the same guy. And I think that's what those guys do such a good job of, where I think some of the newer managers these days with the media, the way it goes, you know, sometimes you can see your manager in panic mode, and that's not a good thing.
I was going to say, do you sense that as a player, that steadiness, even when you, let's say you go for an 0 for 17, 0 for 20, your manager puts you in the lineup and is steady with you, what effect does that have for your psyche?
Well, you know, they got the confidence to keep putting you out there, you know, but like I said, sometimes you'll see if you lose 2 games wrong, you just, the lineup's completely different and all this, you feel panic. And I think players know that. I tell you all the time, baseball players more than any other athletes are creatures of habit.
Well, the other very consistent habit they had was winning. Bobby Cox did it a lot here in Atlanta on his way to the Hall of Fame, and Bruce Bochy is ticketed for Cooperstown too. As Joey Rickard, the left fielder, struck out his first time. Bats with 2 outs in the 4th inning in Atlanta. Scoreless game. Game 81 at home. Braves have already won their 50th of the season here at SunTrust Park. Hard to believe we came back home after the first series in Philadelphia 0-3, and everybody was wondering, uh-oh, what are the Braves in for? Because they then have the Chicago Cubs greeting them in the opening series. Well, the Braves swept them 8-0, 6-4, and 9-4 the first 4 days of April. Then won the first game against the Marlins to go to 4-3 on the season. Sharply hit. Dansby to his right. Cut of the outfield grass. Another throw off target this time. And Rickard's aboard with 2 outs.
Yeah, this time couldn't make the play. 2 tough ones, made one of them. This one, maybe his feet got crossed up, I think, a little bit here throwing. He knew it.
The farthest the Braves were ever back in the divisional race this year was 4 games. That was at the end of play on May the 9th. Right around that time, that's when Ronald Acuna was batted first, and the Braves' entire lineup was shuffled. They then took off. The Braves got to early June 10th and 11th, tied for first. That was the Musgrove game. So when you talk about lines in the sand, that's it. Braves were victorious against the Pirates June 12th and have not lost even a share of first place since that date. From June 12th to June 29th, the Braves went from 1 game up in the division to 6.5 games up in the division, and that's pretty much where it was won.
Yeah, the Nats, remember, won that first game, got it back to 4.5 games at one point, and the Braves won the next 2, 6.5, and like you said, they haven't looked back since. Nats go on that huge run. Braves only end up losing 1 game, going 17-3 in those 20 games.
You have to go back, I guess, to the 03 season with the Braves and Giants before the, was it 03 or 93? I think it was the 93 season, where the Braves and Giants were neck and neck. Braves won 104. The Giants won 103, and San Francisco went home. Swing and a miss. Brandon Crawford is retired. Keuchel gives up an infield hit and nothing else. He looks good through 4 scoreless innings. Catch that. Young Logan Webb has looked impressive. Coming off a no decision last time out against the Red Sox, a career high 97 pitches. In that game at Fenway Park, he gave up 3 runs in 5 innings. So far, he's kept the Braves off balance with 4 groundouts, 2 strikeouts, and only the Billy Hamilton base hit through the box.
Looks like Wash taking this time to get over to third base this inning.
So Echeverria leads off. He popped out his first time. And that one slowly hit, and Webb spears that. And another easy out, 1 away.
Ran a 2-seamer in there.
Here's Freddie. Freddie Freeman is 0 for 1. He grounded out his first time in the first inning. Right there, strike 1. Freddie Freeman is our Zaxby's indescribably good play. Here are your offensive leaders at home this year. Not surprisingly, Freeman leads in homers and RBIs. As this ball is slashed down the left field line, troubled if it's fair. It is foul, however. Nice try by Rickard up with that. Walls coming up quickly. And he's all right. It's a foul for Freddie. 0-2 the count.
Yeah, you saw that with the home runs. When you have Josh Donaldson and Freddie tied with 22 home runs at home. But imagine your record's going to be pretty good. Look, the 2 guys in front of him there, Ozzie with the hits, Ronald with the steals. Adds up to a pretty good combination.
Braves have hit a record number of home runs this season for the franchise. And that is the overall theme for Major League Baseball this year. Atlanta now 243 homers, 8 more than the previous franchise record of 235. And entering play today as Freeman strikes out. 2 outs. There are 11 teams that have already set their franchise home run records this season. The Reds are 3 away from tying their all-time mark. The Red Sox are 2 away, and Cleveland is 10 home runs away. So the gigantic home run totals is something everybody will pay attention to this offseason. What is baseball, if anything, going to do or be able to do to help keep the ball in the ballpark? Sharply hit right toward third, and Markakis and the Braves are done in a 1-2-3 fourth inning. No score. It's game 3. Braves trying to sweep the Giants. Download MLB At Bat today. It's your #1 app for Braves baseball. Chip and Frenchie with you from SunTrust. Val Burrell, our room mom, with us upstairs for the final time. Thanks to Val for her kindness all summer long. Dallas Keuchel starts with Aramis Garcia, the catcher. Sprays one over the screen foul. It's a strike.
Yeah, Val's kept us going all year.
Yeah, no doubt.
Probably learned a couple new things.
Well, there's no doubt. Great lady, part of our wonderful Fox Sports family. As that's upstairs, ball 1 for Garcia. It's a 1-1 count. Well, they're getting ready to start in Chicago with an ominous weather forecast. Cubs and Cardinals. As this one's popped up. Dansby backpedals and has plenty of room for the first out. It is desperate times for Chicago. They have to win that game, Jeff. I think if they have a realistic shot of getting into the postseason. Right now they're 3 behind Milwaukee in the race for the 2nd wild card.
They got to win that game, or they got to hope someone goes about 1-6 the last 6-7 games of season. One thing they got going is they do go to Pittsburgh for 3.
Cardinals have to go to Arizona, then they finish head-to-head in St. Louis for the final 3 next weekend. Webb shoots it to right. Joyce is there. Everybody swinging early in the count. Giants want to get back home as they play their final road game. Dallas Keuchel happy to oblige with strike after strike. 2 outs.
We were saying between innings, it feels like a spring training game, getaway day.
Dubon 0 for his last 10. There's another old saying in baseball, don't always believe what you see in September or in March. And by that they mean, look, let a guy get a track record when the games count and really mean something before you make an evaluation of the player. I'm going to counter that argument with this young man. I think he's a good looking prospect.
Yeah, I definitely think that. I believe September a little more than March. Spring training, you see so many guys hit 450 and then come up for the season. It just doesn't, you know, happen for them. But September, they're still facing, to me, good big league pitching like this in a 3-game series. This guy's faced Foltynewicz, Fried, Keuchel. You get the occasional, you face a, you know, AAA guy that you can put maybe some good swings off, but especially with the second wild card now, you have enough teams that really are playing deeper into September now.
Yeah, he hasn't been overmatched by any stretch at the plate. He can hold his own with a glove. But the athleticism is really apparent, and that's what the Dodgers used to do. We're going to draft the best athletes, and we can teach you to hit. Well, this guy knows how to do that too. At least he has in his early days as a pro player. As Dallas Keuchel readies for his 69th pitch in a scoreless game. And it's corked out of play. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mets are winning 4-1. They have very faint playoff hopes. Mets lost yesterday 3-2. But Zach Wheeler's finishing with a flourish. 3rd straight game of 7 innings and 1 earned run. He is a free agent to be. Not many people talk about Zach Wheeler. And all about Garrett Cole and his 300 strikeouts. He's a free agent too, but Zach Wheeler might be in that next tier of really good starting pitchers.
Oh, I definitely think he's going to get paid by someone this offseason. I think the big thing for Zach is, can he stay healthy? I would imagine that's going to be teams' probably only concern really with him.
Two balls, 2 strikes. And a swing and a miss. Dallas Keuchel a 1-2-3 5th inning, 3 strikeouts. He scattered a couple of Giants hits, and let's see if Atlanta can break through scoreless.
Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Choose VA today. Visit va.gov. And by Synovus, the bank of here.
At Braves.com/postseason. The great Beth Marshall told me earlier this week that as of now, standing room only tickets are for sale for games 1 and 2. There are some options if you become an A-list member to perhaps get regular seating for the first 2 playoff games here at SunTrust Park. You can also stay up to date with all the information about game times, parking, who the Braves opponent will be online at Braves.com. And we will see you back here at SunTrust Park a week from Thursday for game 1 of the National League Division Series. And that is the other great feature about this beautiful new ballpark. Not only is there not a bad seat in the house, there's really no bad place to watch the game if you're in one of those social standing areas. So let's hope the Braves can pack the park. And I vote for a Thursday and a Friday red out in the first round. Because you know the Cardinals are going to bring their fans dressed in red, so maybe we can drown them out.
Wear the red jacket.
Never know. It is a championship caliber coach. Strike on the outside corner. A ball and 2 strikes. Can't believe you threw your jacket in the recycle bin.
Yeah, you know, put up a good fight this year.
1-2 pitch for Riley is cut on a miss, and Austin's down swinging. First one on a check, this one on a full swing and a miss, and Webb's got 4 strikeouts and has allowed just 1 hit. And look how economically he's worked, just 40 pitches. Here's Joyce.
Yeah, at this rate, he's going to be able to go 12 innings if it's 0-0.
If it goes 12 innings, there are going to be a couple of unhappy teams, to be honest with you. Giants have the long cross-country flight ahead. Joyce, a ground out. And a swing and a miss. This kid's got pretty good stuff, though.
Like I said, it hasn't been much opportunity for starting pitchers. You know, young guys coming in that rotation. You know, their strength all these years has been the starters. I mean, Lincecum, Bumgarner, Kane.
Well, and as we've seen in Atlanta, that's maybe the most difficult way, but probably the most stable way of rebuilding your franchise. Have wave after wave of pitching prospects that can step up and step in. No balls, 2 strikes. Joyce took downstairs. It's 1-2.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a lot easier to go out and get some position players. I think that can impact you right away compared to pitchers. You know, you see a lot of pitchers on the open market in the deals, and it does not work out for the teams.
That's why you got to build from within. I mean, look at the Cubs. Use them as a great parallel to the Braves. Cubs have drafted hitters. They've brought in hitters. Did you know that during the Joe Maddon regime, where they've gone to the playoffs, I think 5 straight years, not a single homegrown pitcher from the Cubs organization has thrown as much or as many as 1 pitch in the playoffs for them? Not 1.
Yeah.
And when you run out.
Well, that's the key. Like you said, it's good for a while, but as guys get older or break down, you're in a tough spot.
When you think about what you have to trade to go get pitching, like Quintana and Hamels, etc. When those older guys break down and you don't have organizational depth, well, you go through the kind of stretch the Cubs are right now. Well, the Braves have terrific pitching now. They feel like they've got a ton of pitching coming. And not only does that give them a great deal of confidence with what they could put together here in Atlanta, but they feel very good about using that pitching as capital to get other things they might need. As that's way outside, Joyce a walk. Webb overthrew that one. First time we've seen that from him. And Joyce aboard in front of Tyler Flowers. Braves have 1 hit. Billy Hamilton's the man that's got it. That's inside, ball 1. Mets 4-1 lead in Cincinnati now. Washington 3-1 over Miami. Pittsburgh and the Brewers no score. Cubs and Cardinals 0-0 bottom first. A little late, popped up and into the crowd. What's your crowd count? What do you think? What's your guess?
34-5 today.
Right on the money?
Yep.
Jared, what do you think? Jared Burleson says 37,000.
Yeah, I don't think Jared's still recovered from 2 nights ago.
Yeah, he might be counting fans by 2s.
Yeah.
Val, 29,500. I'm going to say 33,769. We'll see who's closest when the turnstile count is announced. 2 balls and a strike in a scoreless game. Montreal's a little north of here, don't you think? But bienvenue, mes amis.
Big fans. The guy next to him's got all Indian stuff on.
A little lost, aren't they?
Yeah.
3-1 pitch. Runner goes and shot foul. By the way, going back to Wrigley, did you see what happened yesterday? Cardinals hit a home run. Cardinal fan catches the home run ball. Fans in Wrigley say if you catch a home run ball, you have to take off your Cardinal shirt and put on a Cub jersey, and the guy did it.
Wow. Big rivalry there.
Oh, no question. It's amazing what somebody will do for a couple of beers and a baseball.
Why not?
3 balls, 2 strikes. Joyce was running a moment ago. Let's see if he's going now. He is, and it's outside, ball 4. So here's the first Braves chance. Back-to-back walks. And Billy Hamilton, who scorched one back through the middle, will be the Braves hitter.
And I see Brian Snitker and Walt Weiss talking down there. I wonder if they're going to send Dallas back out for the 6th. We saw Max Fried go 5 1/3 last night.
I would imagine a player of Dallas's pedigree, they're going to leave that decision up to him. What do you think?
Yeah, you wonder. Like I said, if you're going to send him back out there for 1, if you get a chance right here, maybe load the bases, maybe you pinch hit and take a chance. But you know, Dallas hasn't thrown as many innings obviously this year with not starting until June. So a guy like him might tell him, listen, I want to throw regular. I want to try to go 7 innings.
And you know what, we forget about this part of the game too. For Dallas, a longtime American League player, he needs opportunities to see live pitching. In National League play, he's going to have to bunt. He's going to have to work on that facet. This game means nothing but pride for Atlanta, so let him run out there again and see what happens. As Hamilton's ahead in the count, 1 ball, no strikes. All of a sudden, Webb can't throw the ball over the plate. And Kurt Young, the Giants pitching coach, is on his way out.
Like you said, it's not like he's throwing a lot of pitches, only throwing 54, and he's been real efficient. But as you said, Chip, he's had trouble the last 2 batters, and now here commanding the ball.
So the meeting a brief one, and Billy Hamilton digs back in. A lot of times after a meeting like this, they say establish your fastball. Let's see if Billy gets one and can handle it. He did, and he pulled it foul. He was ready for it at 93 miles an hour. 2 balls and a strike. Back-to-back 1-out walks for the Braves here in the home 5th. .94 on that heater. 2-2. Runners lead for Billy Hamilton. The delivery is fouled away. Cubs have broken through in the first inning. They lead the Cardinals 1-0. Still batting in the first. A rough day for Craig Kimbrell. Homers on back-to-back pitches against St. Louis, which won 9-8 yesterday. Cardinals Cardinals scored, or the Cubs scored, I should say, on a passed ball in the first inning. Yu Darvish is on the mound against Miles Mikolas. So 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I think that's the thing that's impressed me most about Billy Hamilton since he's been over here is it seems to me he's starting to try to hit the ball more on the ground, kind of stay on top of it. And I think that's one thing. I remember always watching him with Cincy, thinking, how does this guy not just slap the ball on the ground like Juan Pierre? He's so fast and he hit a lot of fly balls. And I know Kevin Seitzer and Jose Castro have really talked to him about having that bat angle go down so he can stay on top of it.
Strike 3 on a breaking ball. That was nasty. Hamilton put up a fight, but he's retired, and Keuchel will hit with 2 on and 2 out. That's 5 strikeouts for Logan Webb. Dallas will try to help himself. He's got a couple of RBIs. Long inning for Logan Webb. It's 0-2. Dallas had one of the fun moments of the Friday night celebration. He was doing the butterfly swimming in Chattahoochee Falls.
He had a good time the other night.
When does he not have a good time?
That's true.
Dallas Keuchel has been another great addition. Not just between the white lines. The pitch is cut on and missed. And Webb struck out 3 hitters, walked 2 in the Atlanta 5th. It is a scoreless affair. 6th inning rolls around.
Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by Delta Airlines, your local Ford dealer, and by the Georgia Lottery. Today could be the day.
Scoreless here at SunTrust Park. Not the case up in Cincinnati, where the Mets do have their playoff hopes alive, although that heartbeat is very faint right now. Our Xfinity Game Break takes us up to a very small ballpark where Michael Conforto hits a very big fly, a 3-run home run. The Mets are on top of the Reds by a score of 4-2. They are in the bottom of the 5th. This is J-Bone out on the set, fellas.
Yes, it is.
Yes. And the Mets, I'll tell you what, they do have 4 games against the Marlins coming up Monday through Thursday. You know, if somehow Washington or, you know, Chicago keeps slipping up like that, they have the opportunity with that starting pitching. But I do believe that they're going to have to run that gauntlet all 4 games down there in Miami.
And they've got to face the Braves, who every time they saw Atlanta, the Mets were red hot. The Braves cooled them off. But I will say this. You know, you played in New York. You know how crazy the media gauntlet can be. There was a time or two when we saw the Mets, it was almost an hourly proposition as to whether or not Mickey Callaway was going to be in the dugout or looking for different employment. He has kept that team together. With 2 more wins, they guarantee themselves a winning season here in 2019. And with all they have been through, that in and of itself is a remarkable accomplishment.
Yes. Definitely agree with that assessment.
So in a scoreless game, Mike Yastrzemski leads off. He's reached base 2 more times, a double and a walk against Dallas Keuchel. '20 home runs for Mike Yastrzemski, whose dad was once drafted by the Braves. I'm sure his dad, and we know his grandfather, very proud of what he's been able to do with big league action this year with the Giants. That's yanked foul past first. And a ball and 2 strikes. One ball, 2 strikes. The 2-2 pitch. Just missed inside. It's a full count. See, the Braves have set their rotation in Kansas City. Julio Teheran against Danny Duffy. That's on Tuesday night. Mike Soroka and Mike Montgomery will pitch on Wednesday. Both games on Fox Sports Southeast. As another hit for Yastrzemski.
And he's got such a simple approach. You see right there, the 2-2, taking that sinker in from Dallas to get a strike on the 3-2 pitch. And said I've been really impressed with his approach. As you said, right now they're looking for any help they can get in the outfield position. As you see, that was a changeup.
He's hitting lefties too. I mean, that's not easy to do. So leadoff single. That is the second leadoff man on for the Giants. First one came in the 3rd inning. Keuchel pitched out of that. Here's Slater. He's popped up twice. Once to center and once to the second baseman, Adeiny Hechavarria. No score. Double play ball. There's one. And not in time. Oh, what a stretch by Freddie. He thought he reached out enough to get his man, but Slater down the line just did beat the Rap at first.
I think the ball was hit just slow enough right there that it was tough to really turn 2. Yeah, he's safe. Good try though by Freddie.
That's the frustrating thing about the soft contact Dallas gets. You know, it's sometimes too soft.
Well, we've seen numerous times this year. Remember early on, he was giving up seemed like an infield single to lead off the game every time.
Well, the Braves get Yastrzemski. Slater's aboard for Longoria, who again has yet to get the ball out of the infield here in Atlanta. 0-1. Longoria came up in 2008 with Tampa Bay. Well, that was a great year for them, wasn't it? Got to the World Series against the Phillies. Longoria hit 27 home runs in his first big league season. Former #1 pick in 2006. Was a consistent cog in the middle of that Tampa Bay attack. He's hit more home runs as a third baseman in the major leagues than anybody else since 2008.
Yeah, I think they were really hoping when they got him to plug him in the lineup, get him around some other veteran guys, something they hadn't really had in camp in a while, and it just hasn't worked out.
There's a ball out of the infield. It's over the head of Matt Joyce and up against the wall. Slater around second, is on his way to third. They're going to wave him. Echeverria's throw to the plate is going to be late. And Evan Longoria picked a real bad time for a stand-up double. That plates the game's first run, and the Giants have a 1-0 lead.
Joyce almost caught this ball. It kind of tailed back to him. Just went far enough in that gap where he couldn't get it. See right there. Ooh. Slater had to hold up there for a second to see if Matt caught it.
So San Francisco strikes first in the 6th. And Kevin Pillar's the batter. He's 0 for 2. And that just missed outside. Ball 1. Braves are trying to hand the Giants their 6th sweep in 2018. Have to come back today. This ball's popped back toward us. Just out of reach of Tim Smith, our great cameraman behind home plate. But Smitty with those gator arms just came up short. 1 ball, 1 strike. Downstairs, ball 2. A run on 5 hits for San Francisco. Dallas has walked 1. He has struck out 3. Now he's up to 87 pitches. The Braves pen begins to stir a little bit. Paints a corner. Pretty pitch. The 2-2 is poked right off the end of the bat. And Pillar will dig in again.
See Luke Jackson warming up down in the pen with Dallas at 90 pitches now. I try to get him through this inning right here.
Full count. Hammered. And now ricochet around. And a great catch on that bounce right by the Giants bullpen. Ground ball again to Dansby. Plays it off the backhand. It pops out of his glove. Well, he's doing that a lot.
Yeah, I know Ron Washington preaches the backhand play sometimes, but for me right there, that's one where I would like to see him just run through the ball.
Well, you've got to think about hurrying because Pillar can run well, but that ball was pretty sharply hit. I would assume, Jeff, if he gets behind that ball, he can use his momentum to run through it and throw through the bag.
Yeah,
So he's 6. Prolongs the inning for Keuchel. No advance by Longoria. The play in front of him, and now Joey Rickard, the batter. He has an infield hit in 2 trips as well for the Giants. Braves have a very good defensive club, and if you're playing in the playoffs, you have to be. You cannot give other clubs extra outs. Good clubs will take advantage of that. See if Keuchel can pitch around the E6. I thought you made an excellent point about Dallas and why you send him out again for another inning. Entering the 6th inning, he'd only thrown 86 2/3 innings this year.
Yeah, he's probably the one guy in the rotation you want to continue to pitch. You know, Julio, same thing. Those guys are used to throwing those innings. That's not going to bother him. I think when you hear Kelsey talk earlier of talking to Braves manager Brian Snitker, you're really doing it with Fried and Soroka just to protect their arms, limit innings. So if you do make the run that we hope we can do during the postseason, those guys are able to keep throwing.
Well, Snit is standing up. Joey Rickard's probably going to be Dallas's last hitter with 2 on 1 out. And roll foul. Just missed. Full count.
Yourself a ground ball right here and finish the inning off with the double play.
Runners go. Late jump and a fly ball hit to left. Markakis diving try, can't get it. That springs off his glove into the corner. 2 runs are going to score. Rickard will stand at second, and the Giants extend the lead. Tough play for Nick. That ball was curling away from him. And San Francisco has tagged Markakis and Keuchel for 3 runs here in the 6th.
Almost just out of the reach for Nick. Thought that could be his last batter, but
me too.
With Brandon Crawford, the lefty up, maybe wants to give him a chance here to get him.
So one of the runs unearned as Brandon Crawford bats. He's 0 for 2. That is bounced foul at first. Cardinals have tied the Cubs. Paul DeJong hit a home run. 29 homers for the Cardinals shortstop. He's a really good player. So 1-1 in Chicago, 3rd inning. Here it's 3-0 San Francisco. And Crawford beats another ball in the dirt foul. The 0-2 pitch is caught out and missed, and that takes care of Crawford for the 2nd out.
Yeah, they're going to put him on right here. I would imagine let Keuchel get the pitcher and try to just finish off the inning. Let Luke Jackson, if he comes in next inning, start with a fresh inning.
So 4 strikeouts. Garcia will be intentionally walked. And now Webb is the hitter. He's the beneficiary of a 3-0 lead now.
And if Dallas is starting game 1 for you, like we said, probably pitch Friday night or Saturday afternoon in New York. That start before, maybe that's the one to me. Maybe you throw him 80 pitches. You know, let him get to, maybe this is the one where you say, obviously now at 102, hey, you're going to throw a full game.
Little chopper hit toward third. Riley throws on the run and made a nice play, and that will retire the side. San Fran gets 3 runs on a couple of doubles and a costly error. Flash postseason for all of your postseason ticket information. Postseason tickets are now on sale for the division and championship series, which will start here a week from this coming Thursday at SunTrust Park. Giants have just scored 3 runs in the 6th inning. They lead 3-0. Young Logan Webb looking for his second big league win. Coming off a no decision against the Red Sox. 5 innings of 3-run ball. A career high 97 tosses for him at Fenway Park. So far just 63 pitches. A couple of walks, but 6 strikeouts. In fact, he became the 3rd Giants starter since 1958 with 7 or more strikeouts in his debut game. One of those pitchers was Juan Marichal, so that's pretty cool company. He's got a good arm. He's got an idea.
Yeah, listen, he's had great stuff. You know, it's so tough, like you said, this, you know, time you like what he's done. And you see the talent that he has. Like you said, it's all, sometimes you got to wonder how September baseball, a game like this where, you know, the Braves aren't exactly running out their A lineup either. So, but he's done well with what he's had. He had gotten a little trouble last inning, was able to get out of it.
So let's see if Atlanta can cut into this lead in the 6th inning. Swanson, Echeverria, and Freddie Freeman are coming up. Three runs, 6 hits for the Giants, 1 no runs, 1 hit, 1 error for the Braves. And that's downstairs, ball 1. Snitker putting Dansby in the leadoff spot, hoping to get him an extra at bat in each of the remaining games for the Braves. Trying to get him rolling again. He's 10 for 72 in his last 21 games off the injured list. And is 0 for his last 13.
He led off that game against Nola and Philly with the double, had some good at bats after that, and I think we both kind of thought that was when he was going to get rolling, and it just consistently hasn't clicked for him yet. But a guy they definitely need to get going.
When he was going so well, Dansby was driving the ball the other way, using that hole between first and second a lot, hitting line drives to the gap. A lot of strikeouts for Dansby, and today he's pulled the ball twice. And is flied out to left. And a swing and a miss. So that's a rough roll for Dansby. 27 strikeouts in his last 73 at bats. And Webb has his 7th, and he struck out the last 3 in a row. Echeverria is 0 for 2. So Webb is equal to his career high in strikeouts in the big leagues with 7. After 69 pitches, Webb gets ball one on Echeverria. Dedeny's popped out and tapped back to the mound. Baseball America says Logan Webb is their 5th rated prospect. And he has been on the attack since the very first pitch. He set down the first 7 Braves in order. Billy Hamilton got the first and only Atlanta hit in the 3rd. The other base runners were Joyce and Flowers, who walked back-to-back in the 5th.
He's mixed up speeds pretty darn good against this offense. Hasn't really gotten a pattern at all.
That ball smoked to center. Pilar going back at the 400 sign. Won't get it. Ball is down. Dedenyj is flying. He's around second. He's on his way to third. Pilar recovers to hustle it back toward the infield. And Echeverria has a triple off the center field wall.
And let me tell you this, partner, if that ball does not hit that corner and pop right back to Pilar, that's an inside the park home run right there. We'll see in a minute right here. Smokes it way over Pilar's head. That just made a great play. Ball goes off right here, and watch. It hits that edge and comes back. If it continues to ride that wall, he's got himself an inside the parker.
Boy, Pilar's fearless out there. He actually overran it. He is not afraid of contact with the wall. And I'll bet Kevin's going to say after the game he might have been able to catch that one. He didn't. And the Braves have a chance now. Runner at third for Freddie. 120 RBIs for him. Freeman with a 1 RBI lead entering today's play over Anthony Rendon. Nolan Arenado third with 118. Eduardo Escobar of Arizona 117. Those are your top 4 RBI men in the National League. Christian Yelich, despite being injured, still leads the league in hitting, along with Ketel Marte, who's also out. Anthony Rendon 3 points behind. Pete Alonso 50 homers for the Mets. Leads by 2 over Suarez of Cincinnati. Ronald Acuna Jr. leads the National League in runs scored, 127. Let's see if Freddie can get the Braves on the board here. 2-1 pitch.
He's really working that fastball in on him. Got him on that 2-0 slider. That's where I'm sure he wants to be careful a little bit here, but at the same time, you don't want to walk him and bring the tying run up.
3 balls, 1 strike, time call. And a swing and a miss, full count. Astros trying to clinch the AL West today. They've got Justin Verlander on the mound.
It's a good guy to have when you're trying to clinch.
They're up 3-1. Verlander started play today, 11 strikeouts away from 3,000. Keep an eye on that, as that's popped out of play foul.
Good job by Freddie fouling that one off after seeing 2 curveballs on 3-1, 3-2. 95 up.
Verlander has struck out 1 through 3 innings. For the Astros, who are going to be a real pain in the playoffs. Cole, Verlander, Greinke. 3-2 pitch. Is sharply hit right side. That'll get a run home. Nice play by the Giants second baseman Dubon. Give Freeman his 121st RBI, and the Braves bring home Echeverria. It's now a 3-1 game.
Good at bat by Freddie right there. Didn't get anything to hit early. Was patient. No, he wanted that hit. He hit it hard, but got the RBI.
So number 121 for Freddie. And the bases are empty for Nick Markakis. Ground out and a line out for Nick today, who's 0 for 2. Webb at 85 pitches. This kid's made 1 start at AAA as a professional. 1. Wouldn't know it. Say it all the time. Sometimes that 3rd or 4th deck on a big league stadium gives a young player the heebie-jeebies. That's not the case for Logan Webb. Rookie level Arizona, single A Augusta, double A Richmond, triple A Sacramento, and now in the big leagues. Pretty impressive for this young 23-year-old kid who missed high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Logan turns 23 in mid-November.
Yeah, definitely a guy that this team wants to get a look at. Get him going for next year. I see Freddie Freeman there.
That does not look like a happy man. 1-2 pitch is taken low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. George Poulos, the Braves head athletic trainer, is talking with Freddie, who complained about a loose body barking at his elbow about a week and a half ago. That just missed being 2 bases. Anytime you see Freddie sort of pull that ball and hook the ball to the right side, you get concerned, and the way he's holding his arm leads you to believe that something's hurting.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't look good, I'll tell you that.
Pop fly toward left. And Rickard is there. Bright sunny skies, but no trouble. And Webb gives up a run and not
see eye to eye with this anytime soon.
May have to separate these two when we get there. Let's get you back up to the booth.
Yeah, just don't argue about chairs, fellas, and you'll be fine as we head to inning number 7 in Atlanta. Freddie Freeman is back in the field for the Braves. You saw him holding that right arm at a 90-degree angle as he went back to the dugout after that ground out and RBI. You also saw Brian Snitker kind of waving the lineup card at him as Luke Jackson will come on and pitch in the 7th inning.
And you can see Luke real quick before we get back to Freddie. Workhorse, 69 2/3 innings this year. been a stalwart out there for Braves staff. And I think Freddie, it's one of those things, we all know how much he wants to play. And listen, I think that elbow's going to hurt him a little bit. And I think there's times he's just, maybe a swing, maybe something that happens and locks it up a little bit. And we all know he wants to play. And like I said, I think he kind of said, I'm staying in.
Well, he came out, and while Jackson was warming up, Freddie was in a catcher's crouch. He wasn't even throwing ground balls to the rest of the infield. And I would imagine that's exactly what Brian Snitker said. Don't turn the ball loose right now. Let this try to calm down. Which leads you to believe, well, why is he in the game in the first place at this point? You can move Riley over, but then you got to bring in Josh Donaldson, Cole, which I don't think the Braves want to do. And with Camargo and Culberson banged up, that's the infield shortage that you talked about the other day that right now is very problematic for Atlanta. So hopefully Freddie won't be tested here as Jackson misfires high to Mauricio Dubon, the Giants second baseman. 2-2. Sharply hit, and Jackson's inning starts with a leadoff single. So Dubon snaps an 0 for 11 with a clean hit. And here's Yastrzemski again. Braves haven't gotten him out. 2 hits and a walk. Breeze blowing out toward the chop house, left to right here at SunTrust on a bright sunny day. That was one of our highlights of the year. The old chop house games.
Yeah, we did too. We just couldn't get any home runs hit out to us.
Well, there's always a chance next year.
Yep. Doesn't hurt either when you get a couple Hall of Famers calling games with you out there.
That and the Frenchies Blues.
That's true too.
I mean, quite frankly, I'm not sure which was better, Chipper and Tom or the Frenchies Blues out there at the chop house. That was a lot of fun. We'll do that again next year. Hope that becomes a tradition here at the ballpark. As Yastrzemski has a 2-0 count. That one floats in. 2 balls and a strike. Swing and a miss. The throw to second. Short hop, and Dansby couldn't corral it. Backed up nicely by Echeverria. And Dubon has his 3rd stolen base. Yastrzemski protected the runner, gave up a strike, and everybody's safe with nobody out.
Ball tailed on him a little bit, you can see here, but if he was able to scoop it, he would have had him.
Little pop. Dansby's going to drift out, and Yastrzemski is finally retired. So no advance to the runner. Here is Slater, we presume. Nope, he's going to be taken down for Brandon Belt. Brandon Belt. What a great name for a hitter. Belt's a patient guy, 79 walks, Mentioned his versatility. 120 games at first base, 11 games in left field for Brandon Belt. Didn't get it. Swing and a miss.
That's another guy. Talk about Brandon Crawford, Brandon Belt, same way. They're going to need him to step up, have a big year next year. You know, if they want to continue going in that right direction of getting back towards the playoffs.
No balls and 2 strikes for Brandon Belt. So Kelsey, the Braves bullpen somewhat in a state of flux as far as postseason play is concerned. A lot of options for Brian Snitker and Rick Kranitz to consider.
Yeah, and you guys know it. I mean, I wish the fan base could understand how much planning goes into a game. And Brian Snitker was telling us last night, you know, the game, if you could script it, the game last night went exactly how they would want it to go. They used the guys that they talked about using prior to the game, which is really difficult to script out and plan. And he said today the rest of the guys were going to have to get in there regardless kind of the score, but just because we have so many off days this week with Monday and Thursday, they want to make sure they're keeping those arms fresh. It's a little bit more difficult when you have all of those arms down there. You have guys like Darren O'Day who they're trying to see more of as they get close in these postseason roster moves, but they are very specific today about who they're wanting to get in that game to make sure that they can stay fresh through the off days this week.
Yeah, that's the old adage, isn't it? Rest versus rust if you're a relief pitcher. Finding opportunities to get those guys game action. And again, with just 5 games left after today and 2 off days, Monday and Thursday, that will be a challenge.
Yeah, but as you said, with the Braves clinching the division, you know, they're able to put guys in certain spots and see what they like no matter what the score is, honestly.
A 1 count.
And you want to win as many games as you can to finish your season, but it's not more important than getting your guys ready for the postseason.
Evan Longoria drove home the game's first run with a double in the 6th inning. And scored on Rickard's 2-run double to left. 0-2 pitch. Line drive, shallow center, and a base hit. A 2 RBI day for Evan Longoria. And Luke Jackson's tagged for a 7th inning run. So the Braves couldn't get Dubon trying to steal second base. The throw skipped in front of Dansby Swanson's glove. That kept the inning alive. And Longoria cashes in his 67th run batted in for San Francisco.
Got a slider there off the end of the bat. Didn't necessarily scorch it to center field, but enough to get it out there.
That's to third. Nice play, Riley. Long throw. And Freeman comes off the bag.
Yeah, great play by Austin just to save a double and possibly even a run.
Was that a fair ball or a foul ball?
A fair ball.
Yep. Well, I saw the umpire have both hands up in front of home plate. He was saying time, I suppose. So, yeah, it's an infield hit. Just want to be sure. 3rd single of the inning. And here's Rickard. Popped up. Long run, Freddie over near the stands, and no play. Strike 1. Another nice catch. A fan from San Francisco made that play.
Got a souvenir.
No balls and a strike. That's pumped right over. And 0-2. Braves bullpen this month has been simply excellent. Chris Martin, 4 scoreless appearances. Mark Melancon, 2 runs in his 6 appearances. You know all about the saves. Sean Newcomb, 7 innings of 1-run ball. Shane Green, 3 runs in 8 innings of work. Jerry Blevins, 5 opportunities to pitch. Hasn't walked anybody. I mean, that's the other good sign. This relief corps, by and large, has had very good control. Giving up hits, but they're not hurting themselves with bases on balls. And the 1-2 pitch.
And that's a lot of the reason for me. You asked me 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago, if I thought the Braves could win the National League. I would have been a little skeptical of it from the standpoint of the back end of the bullpen and the bullpen. That's exactly why I think they have that opportunity now, because I think they've really cleaned that up, and those guys have pitched great down there. And I think they're going to be a huge boost going to that postseason.
2-2 for Joey Rickard. Way outside. It's full count. And the pride of Augusta, Georgia is watching our game today. Another great big league scout, Lee Elder, follows the Braves for the San Francisco Giants. He's one of the game's really good guys. Wish him all the best this offseason. As that ball's cut on and missed, and that will retire the side. San Fran adds a run on 3 singles. Big day for Evan Longoria, his first 2 hits and his lone RBIs in this series in Atlanta. It wouldn't be right to say goodbye to SunTrust Park in regular season play without one final rendition of God Bless America from the one and only, the great singing voice of the Atlanta Braves, Timothy Miller, who's making his way to the center of the diamond before a packed house. The home finale here in 2019 between the Braves and the San Francisco Giants. Nobody does it better than Timothy Miller, and let's enjoy his beautiful music right now.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with her light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with a foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
I'm going with Julio Teheran in the 4th spot in the rotation. I know a lot of people want to put him down in the bullpen and Max Fried in the rotation. I love Max Fried out of the bullpen. The question is, do you take these numbers for Max Fried into consideration if they play the Cardinals? Against the NL Central, he's been fantastic in his career. Julio's been really good throughout the course of the season. I just feel like in the bullpen, in the playoffs, that multi-inning guy, that weapon with Max Fried, that stuff really plays, Peter.
You're absolutely right, but I'm going to go ahead and say that, look, the team has options, and that's always a good thing. But with options comes the pressure to make the right decision. So for me, I think you have Max in the bullpen for games 1 and 2 with the option for 3 if you need it, because this gives 1 game at a time, right? You don't want to worry about game 4 until you've competed in game 1, 2, and 3. So keep that kid in the bullpen for game 1 and 2 and have him as an option. 17-game winner as an option to start game 4 is not a bad idea.
We will see who will be in that rotation. A lot of questions to be answered around here. All right, before we get you back up to baseball, quick word from our friends at Synovus, including directions to your nearest Synovus.
Thank you, fellas. Great job with the stretch. Let's see if Atlanta can mount a rally here in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. Logan Webb, terrific. 6 innings of 2-hit, 1-run ball. He's in line to win his 2nd big league game. Just a couple of walks and a career high tying 7 strikeouts. He gives way now to right-hander Tyler Rogers. 7 years in the Giants minor league system. His brother Taylor Rogers closes for the Twins. The crowd count today, 33,674.
You were really close.
I guess 33,769.
And I think it also justified the fact that Jared was counting 2 people. Seeing double. Not his fault, though.
Nope. Well, I could see how Tyler Rogers would be not a fun at bat if you're a right-hand hitter.
No, and you saw the numbers for him. You know, only 12 2/3, but only 2 walks, 1.42. Kind of like Darren O'Day for the Braves when you saw him last night. It's just something you don't see a lot. It's very uncomfortable.
I mean, he almost scrapes his knuckles on the top of the bullpen, or top of the pitcher's mound, I should say, when he turns it loose. And that takes care of Austin Riley for out number 1. What adjustments do you make as a hitter when you face a guy that throws from this angle with this kind of stuff? Look at this. Right above the top slope of the mound.
Yeah, and I think that's a tough thing. You see a lot of sidearm guys. You know, our own Peter Moylan out there, you know, came from halfway down the side. This guy, like you said, he's a lot like Chad Bradford.
Yeah.
The old Oriole and Met. The fact that he almost literally scrapes his knuckles, and that's tough. It's just something you never see.
So, Peter, that's a huge advantage, is it not, when guys don't see that angle and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, that's what I relied on for most of my career. Was just trying to trick everyone. And I managed to trick Jeff a few times, which was nice.
Well, thank you, Peter. No, but Peter, let me ask this, because you threw from the side, but you didn't throw from where he's throwing right now. How are you able to control that from all the way down there?
It was just it was one of those things you have to work at. The more comfortable you get, the more times you do it. Look, I was always an over-the-top guy that made that adjustment out of necessity because I had my back injuries. But yeah, you just got to get used to it. And the hard thing is there's not many coaches out there that can tell you what to do. You've got to kind of learn yourself because a lot of guys didn't throw like I did.
Well, there's another guy that throws like him. His brother Taylor is an identical twin, truly, for Minnesota. 10th set of twins to play in the major leagues. One ball, 2 strikes. On the ground to second. Dupont makes the throw to Belt at first. And that's out number 2.
Look, I was listening to guys during the 7th inning stretch out there, and you hear Nick and Peter kind of going back and forth on what they think for the rotation. They're going to have options they're going to meet. I'm just still on the belief that Max Fried's starting a game for me. You win 17 games this year. You're tied for the league lead in wins. Obviously, you've done something right all year. And so I think, you know, whether he is in the bullpen for the first game, if you need him out there, but I want to see him start a game.
That's down the line in right, and that ball is in the corner. Tyler Flowers on his way to second, and with 2 outs, the Braves have a base runner here in the 7th inning.
And you asked how do you hit a sidearm? That's probably the best way right there. From a right-handed standpoint, you try to stay inside it and shoot it the other way. That way you stay on the slider. It's tough to do, but Tyler did a great job right here. Just dropped the bat head on it.
So that was an all-Tyler matchup. Tyler Flowers versus Tyler Rogers. Tyler Rogers' brother Taylor, identical twin, pitches left-handed. They're mirror image twins. How about that? So Billy Hamilton with 2 outs. And a swing and a miss. Cute picture in The Athletic showing the Rogers boys as little leaguers in Littleton, Colorado. They're wearing Braves uniforms.
Sorry, I didn't get it. Can't look at it.
I know. You can borrow my subscription. Here, I'll show you the picture right now. Check it out. It's a good looking photo. It's kind of like Brian Snitker's grandsons, Luke and Jude, wearing Braves gear. No balls, 2 strikes for Billy Hamilton. Braves are down 4-1 in the 7th inning. Adam Duvall has grabbed a bat. He's going to hit for Luke Jackson if the inning gets that far. I would assume, Jeff, as difficult as it is to face this man as a right-hand hitter, left-handers get a much longer and thus better view of Tyler Rogers. Is that accurate?
Oh yeah. That slider he throws is coming into you, so it's not one of those that you get caught leaning out over the plate. That's the hard thing. For a right-hander, you almost have to pick pick one of them. I'm either going to look for the slider, look for the fastball, and when you get it, you just can't miss it.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Taken low. Hamilton looked at it at the catcher's glove. Garcia 2-2. Tehran and Duffy Tuesday. Soroka Montgomery Wednesday. Then a weekend series against the Mets. And the pitch. He is slapped left side. Longoria long run near the tarp. Won't have a play. Pop foul out of play. It's 2-2. And Hamilton is down on strikes, and that takes us to the 8th inning. Giants in command of Game 3. They're on sale now at Braves.com. 4-1 is your score after 7. Jerry Blevins is on to pitch, and Francisco Cervelli has checked in for Freddie at first base. Again, Freddie's elbow is bothering him. We'll find out how badly after the game and let you know on Braves Live when Kelsey gets to the Braves clubhouse.
Yeah, what you like is with Monday off day, even if you decide you don't want to play him at all in Kansas City, you can give him 4 or 5 days to rest that elbow if that's what it needs. So you got Cervelli at first base, his 14th game in his career at first base.
So Jerry Blevins, who, as I said, part of that relief corps that's done such good work this month. This is Jerry's 6th September appearance. No walks, 4 strikeouts, and only 1 hit for the Braves relief corps. And Brandon Crawford will be the first man he faces. And a sweeping strike. Crawford didn't get it. He struck out twice in 3 trips. 1 inning, 3 hits and a run for Luke Jackson with a couple of strikeouts. And Blevins has the 7, 8, 9 hitters for the Giants. Crawford, Garcia, and Davis.
And that's what makes Jerry so tough. It's that curveball. We all know it's good, but he's able to put it in different spots, take a little bit off. Just when you think you're about to crush it, it just drops down. It's been his most effective pitch for 10+ years.
Which makes him an extremely important pitcher in the bullpen. The old left on left guy, that's Jerry Blevins to a T. But he can get out righties too. He doesn't give in. And if you think about matchups with the Cardinals or eventually the Dodgers, guys like Blevins who can get out the lefties, boy, that's huge. Two balls, two strikes. Fly ball. Joyce is going to track this down near the warning track. And that takes care of Crawford. And out number one. Brewers are beating the Pirates. That game is in the bottom of the 6th inning. The Milwaukee Brewers have been the hottest team in baseball in September. They're 16-4. And with Brandon Woodruff and a bullpen pitching, they have a perfect game through 6 innings against Pittsburgh. Jerry Blevins retires Brandon Crawford in a tune-up. It's 4-1 San Francisco with 1 out. Your next corporate meeting, birthday celebration, or holiday party at SunTrust Park, even during the off-season. For more information, go to Braves.com/special events. Shane Green will get a chance to tune up with Aramis Garcia, the catcher. 1 out, nobody on.
No, this is exactly what Kelsey was talking about. You know, this is where you can bring the guys in that you need to get them innings, so they're not. And they haven't pitched yet this series with the off day Monday going to KC. Last thing you want is how well they've been throwing, Chip, is to not pitch for 5 days.
A 1 count. Well, you know what? We'll take our gloves to New York. Maybe if the guys want to play catch, we can go to Central Park and throw the pill around a little bit.
Why not?
No balls, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Well, that was pretty to watch. Green sharp. 3 pitches, disposes of Garcia. 2 outs. And Jalen Davis, the hitter. So this sets up for Atlanta. You might see Melancon come on and pitch the 9th inning with the day off. In Kansas City tomorrow. 2 blowout wins against the Giants in the first 2 games. Foltynewicz and Tomlin combined to clinch the division on Friday. Yesterday it was Fried, O'Day, Wright, Swarzak, and Newcomb. Today Keuchel, Jackson, Blevins, Green. And one would think Mr. Melancon for 3 outs.
I would think we're going to see him in the top of the 9th.
Marlins take a 5-3 lead over Washington. Milwaukee's up 4-0 on the Pirates. Cubs 1, Cardinals 1. Chris Bryant left the game. Hit the base awkwardly at first, rolled his ankle, had to be taken out. First Rizzo, now Bryant. Nothing going right for Chicago. Davis, big time young slugger. The Giants hope will blossom at the big league level. Hitting 111 in the major leagues. is 3 for 27 overall. It's fouled away. And the Giants sent Sam Dyson to Minnesota. Jalen Davis with Kaiwei Teng and Prelander Baroa came over. Davis had a good run at AAA with Sacramento. 10 homers, 27 RBIs in 27 games. And the 1-2 pitch. It's the inside corner. 2-2. Little pop into shallow right that Matt Joyce will corral. And Blevins and Green work a 1-2-3. San Francisco 8th. A time to be determined, and against an opponent yet to be named for the Braves in the first round of the National League Division Series. Adam Duvall will bat for Green. And Rogers back out there for another frame.
He was so effective. I think they figured with Duvall pinch hitting, Swanson, Echeverria behind him, might as well keep him out there.
Duvall, a former Giant, Red, and now a Brave. One and two. Base hit to right. So Duvall gets something started in the 8th. Dansby 0 for 3. Brian Snitker batted Dansby first, hoping to get him 4, maybe 5 at bats. More game action he sees, the more possibility that Dansby will find something at the plate to get him rolling. This is a tough assignment here for Swanson, with Rogers throwing the ball right at his back left pocket. But he hung in there and fouled it off, but is behind 0-2.
Got the right approach, just like Tyler Flowers, Duvall right there. You got to try to shoot it the other way. And then if he does hang you an off-speed pitch, hope that you're in a good enough position that you can put some good wood on it.
Braves need 3 to tie. And that's downstairs. Freddie Freeman left the game. Francisco Cervelli has taken over for him. Freddie appeared to tweak that problematic right elbow in the 6th inning on a ground ball out that brought home the lone Atlanta run. Freddie did stay in the game for another inning or so defensively, but could be seen clearly holding the elbow with discomfort as Swanson strikes out. 1 on, 1 out. So that and more is coming up on Braves Live. Here's Danny Echeverria. Danny is our StatCast AI powered by AWS. Look at how quickly Echeverria was flying around the bases.
Great bat flip.
Yep.
Got to appreciate that. And as you said, if that ball just bounces the other way a little bit, maybe inside the Parker, but he was flying.
Was it an Echeverria that had the first StatCast bat flip?
Yeah.
So he is our resident bat flip StatCast leader.
Perfect
for Atlanta. One ball, one strike. Hitters will say from time to time that they'll see a pitcher and it looks like the fastball rises as it gets to the plate. With this guy, it has no other option because he truly is he is throwing underhanded and slings the ball upward to get it on its trajectory to the plate. If you time it right, you can launch it. But that is not an easy task. 2 balls and a strike. A beauty, 2-2.
It's amazing how low he is to the ground.
Swing and a miss. Echeverria's down on strikes. So that's 3 of them for Tyler Rogers. And here is Cervelli. This is the one thing that managers of all the teams going into postseason play probably stay up at night worrying the most about, and that is the health of their club in the final week. Again, we've talked about it a lot. Rest versus rust. How much to play guys, how much to give them time off. Injuries happen. Anytime injuries happen, they're at the most inopportune time. But for teams that are closing in on 100 wins and the playoffs, you don't want guys banged up going into postseason play. Hopefully Freddie's right elbow issues are not a big problem for the final week.
And I think it's communication. We saw Nick Markakis take what 6-7 weeks off, come back, and he was fine. Some people need reps at bats and some people don't. So I think that's the key, is letting your manager know this is kind of what I need.
That just missed. 2 balls and a strike. And even then, when you say to your manager what you need, it's really, Jeff, at this point of the season, what your body will allow you to do.
True.
Because nobody, no matter how much rest, no matter how much rehab they get, nobody's 100% this time of the year. Remember, these guys, even the non-pitchers, got to Orlando and Walt Disney World around mid-February. And it's every day from mid-February on into late October. Think about that.
Yeah, it's a long year.
The 2-2 pitch. Fought off. And back to the screen. Spring training will have a different feel next season. We will be in Northport, Florida, the new spring training home of the Braves. So that'll be fun for all of us. Fresh start and hopefully a world championship banner to unfurl. The 2-2 is fought off again. Good at bat by Cervelli. I think can be a real big difference maker for the Braves. Hope to get that guy back on the left. Johan Camargo. A shin fracture. Charlie Culberson, of course, ruled out for the rest of this 2019 season. Still awaiting Ender Inciarte, who continues to progress in his rehab. Brian Snitker had mentioned there's a chance he could play in Kansas City, more likely in New York against the Mets.
And that's where the tough calls come. You know, you see a guy play for a couple games.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the Braves' 8th. Tyler Rogers following Logan Webb, and popped up. Belt in foul ground, has plenty of room. He staggers a bit but makes the play, And Tyler Rogers was very impressive. He's tough to hit. A couple of hits, but no runs, and we go to the ninth. In for a tune-up. It's been a while since Mark has pitched on a big league mound. He started the year, as you know, with the Giants, so ought not be any secrets for Melancon. In this outing, Mark's done excellent work for the Braves relief corps. In fact, he's got a run of 3 consecutive scoreless outings. His last game was on the 19th when he picked up his 12th save against Philadelphia with a couple of strikeouts. Mark, by the way, is 6 saves away from 200 for his big league career. And it'll be the top of the order coming up for San Francisco. They enjoy a 4-1 lead in the final home game of the year here at SunTrust in regular season play. Barring a big comeback, the Braves will finish their 3rd season at home 50-31. That is a good home field advantage.
Oh, yeah.
So Dubon, Yastrzemski, and then we'll see for San Francisco. Should be Brandon Belt hitting 3rd for them. As Melancon toes the slab and goes to work. And the pitch. He is right there, a strike. Mark had such great success with the Pittsburgh Pirates and signed a big contract with the Giants. He got hurt out in San Francisco in the last year and a half or so. He was it himself. The numbers that lured him out west just weren't there at AT&T and now Oracle Park. The Braves were very happy to get him away from San Francisco, and it was a costly acquisition. Braves assumed the rest of Melancon's contract for this year and the remaining part of that big contract for 2020.
He's been good, though.
He has been very good.
Both those guys, him, Green, Martin. Rough little first 10 days, but since then.
And for a 3-year stretch with the Pirates, you could have made the case that Melancon was the best closer in the National League. I know that includes having Craig Kimbrell around. 2014, 33 saves. 2015, 51 saves. 2016, 47 saves between the Pirates and the Washington Nationals. Excuse me, 13, 15, and 16 seasons. Mark was an all-star. Now the Braves happy to have him here in Atlanta as he tries to tune up against his former club. Mauricio Dubon, 1 ball 2 strikes to him. He singled and scored the 4th Giants run his last time up, and he didn't get it. He chased a ball down and away. It was tipped and caught, and Melancon's 9th gets off to a good start. Dubon strikes out for the 2nd time. Here's Yaz. A double, a walk, a single, and finally Yastrzemski was retired on a pop-up back in the 7th inning. Steve, rank 1.
He's been the guy that's been the most consistent by far the first 3 games. Put up a good season.
I was saying, no kid, but he has really done a nice job for the Giants. In Chicago, the Cubs lead the Cardinals 2-1. That game is in the 7th. Brewers lead the Pirates 2-0. As this one's out of play, foul. Pittsburgh did pick up their first hit of the game, so the perfect game bid, no hit bid's been taken care of. But the red hot Brewers rolling against the Pirates 4-0.
Ooh. Fouled that cutter off.
One guy you need to keep an eye on for the Brewers is Drew Pomeranz. They're calling him the old Josh Hader, because all he does is strike people out. He has gone to the bullpen and he's throwing 96, 97 miles an hour all of a sudden. He's a left-handed reliever. And Yastrzemski took a little punishment there. A ball and 2 strikes.
Come right back in there again.
To third. And the throw by Riley right on the money to first, and Cervelli held the bag just long enough for out number 2. Mets lead the Reds 6-3. That game's in Cincinnati. Michael Conforto, as Jerome told you, hit a home run. Brandon Nimmo and J.D. Davis have also gone deep for the Metropolitans. They're trying to keep their hopes alive. Washington losing in Miami 5-3. That game's in the 9th. That is a big story to follow, because Milwaukee could catch Washington for the top spot for a wild card game.
Bullpen blow it down there for Washington.
The Marlins got 4 in the 7th. And those runs came off of Wander Suero and Hunter Strickland in the 6th and 7th innings. Well, it's the same guys every day for Davey Martinez, isn't it?
Yep.
Fernando Rodney, Strickland, Suero, Rainey, Guerra, and then maybe Doolittle. If they have the lead, so that group's got to be a little tired.
Tell you what, Melanson looks sharp out here too.
Yeah, that's always good to see, as he's a strike away from bringing the Braves up in the bottom of the 9th. Sharply hit, and Joyce plays it on a short hop. And Brandon Belt has a 2-out hit. That's number 10 for the Giants. And speaking of number 10, here's Evan Longoria. Astros are winning 6-2 over the Angels today. George Springer homered in his first 3 at-bats of the game.
It's a good way to try to clinch.
He's got 38 of them. Alex Bregman's also gone deep with his 39th. And Verlander on the mound. Ground ball to short. And that one right through the wickets of Dansby Swanson. 2-error day for the Braves shortstop. And the Giants have him first and third and 2 outs.
Yeah, Dansby's played such, I thought, good short this year, Chip. It's one of the first balls I've seen where I think his offense is affecting him out there now, because that's a ball you never see him make that mistake. And like you said, yeah, I know he's feeling it at the plate. He knows where the playoffs are coming up, and he's trying to think too hard. I think an off day tomorrow actually will do him some good. Just hopefully take a deep breath and get on the road.
So Kevin Pillar is the batter. Pillar has a single and a run scored. And is flied out twice. Well, the big thing about playoff baseball is if you have a bad break behind you, you got to pitch around it and pick up your mates. Let's see if Melanson can do that here. The 1-1 is on the ground. Riley's got it. He'll go the short way to second, and that will retire the side. Melanson does pick up Dansby Swanson. Last call for the Braves. Heart of the order up in a 4-1 game. Is on to pitch. Will Smith was a highly sought after reliever at the deadline. The Giants decided to keep him because of that line of excellent work. Smith is a veteran of Tommy John surgery that cost him the 2017 season. Remember, he was with the Royals and Milwaukee before he came to San Francisco.
Yeah, he's one of the guys. Him and Bumgarner, the two they decided to keep at the trade deadline, that were probably the most talked about guys. He's been their most reliable guy.
So he'll follow Tyler Rogers, who went 2 innings and gave up 2 hits, no runs, and struck out 3. Smith will face Markakis, Riley, and Joyce. That's why he's in the game. And for the Braves, for whom this game means very little, for guys like Markakis and Joyce, a chance to swing the bat against a tough left-hander. So in a way, Bruce Bochy's doing him a favor, if you want to think of it that way. We'll see how it all shakes out in a 4-1 San Francisco game. A run on 4 hits for the Braves. They've made a couple of errors and have left 5 on base. 4-10-0 for San Francisco. They've stranded 10. San Francisco's trying to snap a 4-game losing streak head-to-head with Atlanta. And that's upstairs. Will still lives in Noonan in the offseason. Lives about 9 miles from his childhood home south of SunTrust Park.
You want to know how tough it is as a lefty. 62 1/3 innings for Will Smith this year. 413 OPS.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Yes, not a lot, but there is a chance.
2-1 as the shadows creep toward the first base line, and right there a strike. 2-2. That's out of play. What has been a remarkable season, the return of Nick Markakis is just about as remarkable. This is his 7th start since coming off the injured list. Went 9 for 22 in the first 5 games back. And it's not to be here as Nick is struck out. That's what Smith does. Markakis' day ends 0 for 4, 1 away. Here's Austin Riley. He's 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Riley got the start at third base for Josh Donaldson today. Made a couple of good plays at the hot corner. Let's see if he can reward himself with a hit. A little early. And strike 1. Next time we see the Giants, there'll be a lot of new faces on their roster, and there'll be a new manager. So we'll take this opportunity to express our gratitude to Bruce Bochy for all he's done for us in the TV business, how kind and gracious he's been to our TV crew, and for what he's meant to baseball. Just a wonderful ambassador. I wish him and his whole family the best as he moves on into what we think will be retirement.
And he'll have a fun week out in San Fran celebrating him and his 3 World Series in career. Be a fun ending for him.
You know, they'll pack the place with the Dodgers in town for the final 3 games. Well, that's what I love about the way the schedule is most of the time. You've got great rivalry games the final weekend. Braves and Mets, Giants, Dodgers, Cubs, Cardinals, and on we go. Should make for some great drama here over the final 7 days. The pitch. Struck him out outside corner, and the Braves are down to their last out.
Well, at least we get to see Ozzie come to the dish.
Yeah. Big cheer for the Braves spark plug. Brian Snitker, true to his word. He wanted to give Ozzie the bulk of 2 games off with the day off tomorrow. I'll bet Ozzie was sitting right next to him with a bat, just knocking the bat against the dugout bench until Snit decided to put him in. Chance for him to work on his right-hand stroke. The Braves will have a left-hander. In fact, they'll have 2 left-handers facing them up in Kansas City, Duffy and Montgomery. This is the side of the plate where Ozzie, as far as his average goes, has been so very good. Line drive. Sure enough, it's a 2-out hit for Ozzie.
All he does is hit.
That's it. So Ozzie Albies hit number 183. Let's check out the hits leaders in the National League. Albies is now 4 behind Ketel Marte. Marte's hurt.
He's done for the year.
So great chance that Ozzie Albies could be the National League hits leader with a good final 5 games. Wouldn't that be something? No balls and a strike. Braves down to their last out. Albies takes off for second, and Flowers shoots the gap toward left. But a great jump by Yastrzemski. Well, he's got great instincts, as you'd expect, and that will end the game. The San Francisco Giants beat the Braves, and we salute Bruce Bochy and wish him all the best. Brian Snitker waiting to get Bruce Bochy's attention. A tip of the cap for Brian Snitker, for a man that's going to the Hall of Fame. You'd expect nothing but class and respect from the Braves for all that Bruce Bochy has meant to our sport and what he meant for Bobby Cox oh so many years ago. Braves don't sweep the Giants, but they finish their home slate at 50-31 for the season. And Bruce Bochy, Godspeed. What a man. Great game. San Francisco wins it, Jeff. We conclude our home slate and finish up on the road now.
Yeah, it's been a great year at home. Braves have played awesome here at SunTrust Park, and you know what? Next time they come here, this place will be rocking. It's going to be a lot of fun to see. Get these 5 more games over. You know, the guys are excited, and what a great, like you said, what a great season here at SunTrust.
And that next day will be a week from this Thursday against the winner of the National League Central, which has yet to be determined. Hats off for the Braves and Braves country. A record-setting attendance total of over 2.6 million, and a big crowd today of over 33,000. And for our crew, we salute you as well. Braves Live presented by Xfinity is coming up next.